Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as we take you around San Diego. I'm News 8's Jenny Day. I'll get you caught up on our top stories of the week, and we'll also look ahead at what's to come around San Diego. We begin with the fight to keep the Santana High School shooter behind bars. It is now moving through in Sacramento. Local leaders and the district attorney are backing a bill that would close a loophole allowing Andy Williams to seek a reduced sentence. Williams was 15 when he killed 2 students and wounded 13 others in 2001. And a court recently ruled he can petition for resentencing. His original sentence was 50 years to life. The proposed bill would block mass shooters and those convicted of multiple murders from seeking that relief.
The victims have no opportunity to be free from their mental, emotional, and physical wounds, including Randy Gordon and Brian Zucker, who were killed. Perpetrators shouldn't so easily have the opportunity to be free from the consequences of their actions either.
Yeah, supporters say it's about justice for victims, while opponents argue it targets juvenile offenders. Well, now to a major shakeup in the contentious race for California's next governor. President Trump is now endorsing Republican Steve Hilton, a former Cox News contributor. Leading up to the President Trump's endorsement, Californians were eyeing the possibility of 2 Republican candidates advancing to the general election, with the large field of Democratic candidates splitting the vote under the state's nonpartisan primary system. But some political analysts say that scenario is now looking less likely.
People might have thought would have 2 in the general election. Now that President Trump has weighed in, even if GOP voters coalesce around Steve Hilton, given the endorsement, we're still going to at the very least have 1 candidate come November.
All right, a recent Emerson College poll shows 25% of likely voters are still undecided in this primary race, meaning that it's still anyone's game. Mail-in ballots will start going out next month, and then the primary is set for June 2nd. Well, the Trump administration also just announced it's dissolving Title IX agreements with 5 school districts, and one of those is the La Mesa Spring Valley School District. For more than a decade, federal safeguards have been in place intended to protect transgender and non-binary students. However, the Department of Education just repealed those provisions, saying the Trump administration is removing the, quote, unnecessary burdens that prior administrations imposed on schools. The San Diego LGBT Community Center says they condemn the department's decision, adding transgender and non-binary students deserve, quote, safety, dignity, and respect in their schools.
You're not going to be changing people the way they feel, and it's just going to be making it more dangerous for a lot of these kids.
While the Department of Education rolled back certain protections, the local superintendent says that decision really will have no effect here because they will still just uphold California protections that aim to ensure every student is safe and supported. Meantime, San Diego Community College is dropping the Cesar Chavez name from its Barrio Logan campus. The late labor rights activist has been accused of sexual abuse, prompting schools and institutions across the country to remove his name and image. Several speakers went before the San Diego Community College District Board of Trustees to give input on a possible name change for the campus. So for now, the board decided to temporarily revert the campus back to its old name from the Cesar E. Chavez campus to the College of Continuing Education Harbor View campus.
The students will feel heard. So this will be really important for our students as well as our external community members to know that we hear them, we see them, and we value their input.
Will be decided, though no timeline is set for that yet. Well, the man charged with trying to kidnap 2 little girls in Mission Valley will spend 10 years in prison. 43-year-old Rene Arturo Lujan pleaded guilty to 5 felony charges, including attempted kidnapping for the purpose of child molesting and possession of child pornography. The attempted kidnappings happened back in June of 2024 on 2 separate occasions at the Westfield Mission Valley Mall. The parents of one of the girls spoke in court about the lasting impact of that day.
Now at 7 years old, she still carries fear of strangers, fear of leaving home, fear of crowds, anxiety-driven emotional outbursts, and lingering fear that the bad man will come back.
Of his sentence, Lujan must also register as a sex offender for life. Now to the continued push to get rid of controversial parking fees at Balboa Park. A citizen-led measure called the Balboa Park Free Parking Restoration Act just cleared a key hurdle and can now start gathering signatures for the November ballot. Supporters need to collect about 80,000 names to make it happen, but city leaders say those parking fees are critical to close a major budget gap. And hey, did you see this? Right now, the Padres launching their new City Connect uniforms with a Dia de los Muertos theme. The new design draws inspiration from the landscapes, traditions, and binational community that'll define San Diego and Baja California. The uniforms feature a sleeve patch honoring Dia de los Muertos and trim patterned with marigolds, a flower representing joy and life. Love them. All right, coming up, a new report puts California near the bottom for highway conditions, what experts say is driving the low ranking. Plus, spring along the coast means sea lion pupping season is approaching. Park rangers are sharing important reminders about what you should and should not do around our marine wildlife. Welcome back as we continue to take you around San Diego. A new national study is putting California's roads under the spotlight, ranking the state near the bottom when it comes to cost and quality of highway systems. News 8's Alex Lai takes a closer look at what's behind the numbers and how it relates to San Diego.
Well, looking specifically at highways and state roads, factoring in both cost and condition, California ranked second to last in the nation in this year's report. But for a lot of San Diegans, that's not exactly surprising.
I can see that in most places, yeah.
It's not always a smooth ride here in San Diego. In general, the roads here in San Diego, what would you rank them?
Well, 0 to 10, probably like a 1 and kind of pretty bad.
Out of a scale of 50, California ranked 49th in the Reason Foundation's annual highway report.
The reason is California doesn't do much right. The costs of the roadway system are very high and the overall quality is not very good.
Baruch Feigenbaum is an author of the study. He looked at the condition of state roadway systems in 13 categories using data from 2023. He says California's ranking was driven by poor pavement conditions and spending.
Since COVID, I think because of the spending and also because the pavement quality has declined in rural areas, we've seen the state really fall to the bottom. I mean, the only state that's worse is Alaska, and they've got some unique circumstances because of their very low population density.
This includes roadway conditions on state roads and interstate highways.
I would agree. You know, I do hit a lot of potholes and stuff, so, you know, definitely does damage to the tires, so I would agree. Well, I live by the 125, and that's relatively new, but if you drive it, it's actually pretty wavy, so I don't think they really did a good job with it.
Another issue is cost effectiveness, including how money is spent on maintenance and projects.
Obviously, you have to keep the infrastructure up to a certain level, for sure. But I think it's just to keep pumping money into roads is not really a long-term solution.
Feigenbaum says big jumps in the rankings are unlikely, but small improvements could still make a difference.
Basically, the state needs to find a way to maintain its roadways in better condition.
Alex Lai, News 8.
Yeah, stay safe out there. Have you seen this? Players at the La Jolla Tennis Club are now sharing the court with some unexpected visitors, a pair of nesting ospreys overhead. But the feathered guests are leaving more than just an impression. Being large birds of prey, there are many remnants of their food and droppings now being left on the court, forcing the club to adapt. But the club manager says most members are taking it in stride, and because ospreys are federally protected, the nest isn't going anywhere. To help guide the situation, the club brought in a local wildlife nonprofit.
We need to know that we are sharing the coast with them, and this is their life. We're sharing their home. This is a life cycle. It's temporary. It's just going to last a few months.
Good attitude. The ospreys are expected to stick around through the summer, with chicks likely hatching in 3 to 4 months. Speaking of, the season of spring also brings new life to San Diego's coast, literally, as it is pupping season for seals and sea lions soon. How to tell the difference? Sea lions have more of that pronounced flipper, so they can almost walk, while seals just kind of scoot like a caterpillar. Now you know. It's an exciting time, though, for our region, so San Diego Park Rangers want to keep you and the sea life safe. They are reminding you to keep your distance from the pups. Stay at least 50 yards away to make sure that mothers are then able to safely reunite with them.
Mothers are known to leave their pups on land to go hunt for up to 72 hours, and when they come back, they usually recognize their pups by scent. So we want to make sure we have that distance so the mothers can come back to their pups and recognize them.
Yeah, snorkeling is allowed at La Jolla Cove, but lifeguards say flotation devices like life jackets or vessels not allowed in that area. Park rangers will be on patrol, keeping everyone safe. Still ahead, controversy in Coronado over a rooftop airplane design. Why some neighbors are pushing back. Welcome back. A San Diego firefighter who broke barriers has died at 100 years old. Alwyn Ben Holman was assigned to North Park's Fire Station 14 back in 1951 when most stations were still heavily segregated. He was the first black firefighter to serve in San Diego outside of the historically black Southcrest neighborhood. Just months ago, the city declared December 26th Alwyn Benjamin Holman Day. Holman served with the San Diego Fire Department for 32 years and eventually became the city's first black deputy fire chief. Good on him. Rest in peace. Well, a homeowner in Normal Heights says she is fed up and scared. There's a massive eucalyptus tree just behind her home on Caltrans property, and she fears it could come crashing down at any moment. For 3 years, she says she's been calling agency after agency, getting nowhere. And normally, Caltrans would be responsible for cutting the tree, but in this case, they say is different. The branches are twisted around the power lines, and because of that, Caltrans says San Diego Gas and Electric is responsible. Homeowner Linda Sinram has lived in that home since 1990 and says she's not aware of the tree ever being maintained. So up until now, she tells us SDG&E said the tree would remain under observation, but no action had been taken.
Yeah, the big problem with the tree is that it's so tall and the roots are so shallow that, you know, enough rain and enough wind, they're just going to come tumbling down, taking down the poles with it. And like the man said, it's not, those lines are not going to hold the tree up. They're going to keep coming down.
All right, so working for you, we contacted SDG&E. Sinram says just hours later, a contractor came by and told her the tree needs to be dealt with quickly. SDG&E told us, quote, there is no safety issue with the power lines, but we've spoken with the customer and have a plan to address her concerns, end quote. Sinram says the contractor has since worked on the tree. Well, it's not every day you see an airplane parked on top of a house, but that's exactly what is planned for one waterfront home in Coronado, and the design is fueling debate among neighbors. News 8's Brian White also has this one.
This quiet waterfront community is known for its scenic views and luxury homes, but just down the way here, a property under construction is drawing a lot of attention and some pushback from neighbors.
It's the house under construction right there. It's going to be on the roof. From our vantage point, it will be on the right side.
Mandy Pagan says not long after moving in here to the Coronado Cays, she got an unexpected introduction to a new project down the street.
He said, oh, I'm building this house down the street and I'm going to put this plane on the roof. And not knowing him, we kind of thought it was a joke.
But it wasn't a joke. Plans approved by both the Coronado Cays HOA and the city of Coronado show a luxury home featuring an airplane fuselage mounted on the roof.
The more we dug into it and actually asked our HOA, much to our horror, it was the truth.
Some neighbors say their concerns are not just about the unusual design, but what it could bring with it.
We're very concerned that people will be coming by boats and cars and everything else to come and see a plane on the roof.
Pagan says she and some of her neighbors have spent months meeting with the HOA, hoping to find a compromise. They also worry about how it could impact property values.
Who wants to buy a house around here that's going to be looking at that?
I spoke with the developer over the phone, and he disagrees. He says an expensive and creative project like this would add value to the neighborhood. He also says some neighbors he spoke spoken to like the design. In a statement, Donatello Bonacera Development says the home, nicknamed the Jet House, has received all required approvals and permits, and everything is above board. The roughly $30 million project features what's described as a Gulfstream-inspired fuselage as part of its design.
If something is cool or different, everybody wants a picture of it, everybody wants to see it, everybody wants to post about it.
The developer tells me construction is expected to finish in the next 3 to 4 months, while Mandy says they're planning to take legal action. In Coronado, I'm Brian White, News 8.
Brian, thank you. Still ahead, the Big Bear area welcoming 2 new residents. What's next for the Eagle Chicks as community members there are rallying to save the nest? Welcome back. Had to make sure you saw this. The eaglets hatched in Big Bear over the weekend. It was all caught live on camera by friends of Big Bear Valley. We've been watching it closely. News 8's Alex Lai shows us what's next for the chicks and the push to save their nest.
Well, tens of thousands of people have been glued to this live stream of a bald eagle nest in Big Bear. Now, over the next few months, we'll be able to watch the 2 new chicks grow up. But beyond the excitement, there's also concern about what comes next for the nest. These eaglets have quickly become the internet's latest obsession. One hatching Saturday night, the other Easter morning. We're able to see it all thanks to a camera set up by friends of Big Bear Valley.
They're doing great. They have both been eating and they're able to hold their heads up now.
I got an update on the chicks from Jenny Voisard, the nonprofit's media manager. She says in about 9 weeks, they'll be fully grown with a lot of growth along the way.
We'll watch them change. Their feathers will change. Their bodies will change.
To understand what comes next, I spoke with Katie Quint, research director and eagle expert at the Wildlife Research Institute in Julian. She says first they'll get downy feathers, then pin feathers.
All of these feathers are going to be so dark brown that they almost look black. The bald eagle does not develop its white head and white tail that we know it so well for until it's sexually mature at age 5.
Then they'll develop strong talons, a hooked beak, and learn to fly before eventually leaving the nest.
Is it possible for the 2 chicks to make their way down to San Diego at some point?
Oh, it's entirely possible. Their dispersal range is dozens of miles, if not hundreds of miles.
The next step is naming the chicks. Soon the public can submit ideas before a local 3rd grade class makes the final pick. But there's also concern for what comes next. A proposed housing development less than a mile from the nest has sparked a push to raise money to protect the eagles. They need to raise $10 million by the end of July to purchase the land.
We're hoping anybody that would like to help save this land, loves Jackie and Shadow, that can afford to step up and give. We're looking for a hero.
For now, viewers are continuing to tune in, watching every moment as these eaglets grow up in real time. Links to the live stream, how to submit a name, and where to donate can all be found on CBS8.com. Just click on this story.
It's March Madness at the San Diego Humane Society after 350 pets submitted and competed in a bracket-style competition. The results are in and a winner was crowned. A huge congratulations to all of the pets, but JJ the cat is taking the crown. Take a look at him here. Just an adorable little kitty who is a Humane Society alum himself. He was not present at the crowning event in typical cat fashion, although the runner-up, Mango the dog, was here. We had the opportunity to speak with his mom and grandma about what makes Mango so special.
Mango is just the silliest boy. He loves to dig, and he's so funny. He just lives in his own little world.
There were a few other of the pets present, including 6th place Tucker and 7th place Phantom.
What's it like having a pig as a pet?
Oh my gosh, it's a mess. It's a mess. My baseboards are always dirty, but there is never a dull moment, so it's always fun having Tuckdown around.
Here's a look at the final 4. You can see just how cute all of them are with their own little personalities just showing up in each of these photos. A huge congratulations to all of the pets who competed in this competition. I'm Tori Apodaca, and that's what's happening in San Diego right now.
So cute. I see why they won. And how about this? 4 cheetah cubs born at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park finally have names, and one of them was actually named with help from you. Nyasi, Owagadi, Ohani, and Nyala. They arrived back in January, marking the park's first cheetah birth since 2020. Fans voted online to name the vocal independent cub Nyasi, which we are told is Swahili for plains. The brothers are currently with their mother behind the scenes, and guests can catch a glimpse of them on an ultimate safari right here in our own backyard. They're so sweet, and I love that they have their native names, so just darling. All right, that will do it for us. Sincerely, thank you for your time. Thanks for staying informed. For News 8, I'm Jenny Day. Take such good care. Go Padres.